All right. And what did you say, Ty, the name of my cocktail should be?
I started recording just now.
Sandio El Loco.
Sandio El Loco. Which is crazy, the crazy watermelon.
Yep.
In Spanish, because we're using tequila. So it has to be.
I mean, you could say it in French if you want.
But it wouldn't be the same.
I mean, if you say it with the lisp, it's Castilian. So yeah, go for it.
Sandio Loco.
I don't know. I can't do that. What the hell? What are you doing over there, Sean?
Crushing ice for your cocktail.
Oh, okay.
Ian, what's in your cocktail? I mean, Sean, what's in your cocktail?
My cocktail is 1 ounce of vodka, ½ ounce of Genepi, quarter ounce of lemon juice. You stir that in a tin, then pour it over a frozen big cube of watermelon juice. I juiced some of the watermelon Ian gave me. Made big cubes out of it. And then top that with the beer, garnish it with some skin of watermelon garnish that I made.
Okay. We have
12 right here.
Yeah. It looks like a skinny pickle.
Yep. Mine will be garnished with a cube of watermelon and a sprig of cilantro.
Does the cube go on the rim or in the glass?
Yeah, on the rim.
On the rim. Okay.
You can easily just stick it right on there. And remember, it's salted rim, too.
Right. No, I went and I didn't have any rimming salt. So I just pounded out in a mortar and pestle a bunch of like rock.
Dude, I was like, I should have had the good like sea salt, and I just totally flaked out.
This is really good sea salt I'm using.
This is what you're looking at. Garnish, Sean.
Okay. I did not cut perfect cubes, so mine's gonna look a little wonky, but
it's all right. Oh, you're gonna go chunky.
Right.
So these are about the size of the cubes I'm using. So 2 or 3 of these.
Yeah, I got a whole Tupperware that I just kind of. I was using.
You got the same color top.
Yeah. We're Blues Brothers.
All right, if anybody has to go pee, you should go now.
No, I took a sizable deposit before this, so I'm good. Why did I say that on recording? Why?
Suppository is in there. We're good. No itching during the show.
I mean, I'm wearing no underwear, so that's a little itchy.
There you go. So you got.
Totally comfortable.
You got a couple days.
Things I know I have to crush more than the cocktail needs because it's going to melt by the time we get to it.
I know. My ice isn't that small. It doesn't have to be like fancy.
Well, if I grind it the other way, then it'll fall through.
Yours is going to be better. You making my drink is going to be better anyway. So look at the effort you put into it. I mean, I went out there with a Ziploc bag and a hammer. That's how I made my crushed ice.
And you did the Viking way, the manly way. I smashed
the ice. God damn it. You want ice, you just go scoop some out of the backyard. Pound it out if you want it crushed.
Speaking of pounding it out.
Yeah. You seem to be in a good mood today, Sean. You now just put 2 and 2 together.
I had a pretty awesome audition, as I mentioned earlier, and I just heard back from the friend of mine that submitted me for it, and she's like, they loved you. So I think that puts me like in the top 10%.
Oh yeah.
Barring anyone's relative or Dave Fenoy or anything like that, be okay.
All right, Ty. So I've lost 1% of power since we've been on. So I think we'll be all right. I'm at 24% now.
Okay.
I think we'll take the chance. We have the backup. The phone will work anyway.
This is the glass I'm using for yours, which is about the same.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to crush like a little bit more ice, so then we should be good.
The thing is you're going to have a lot of like pulpy in the drink, like a mojito, or like Ty says, this will never be at River Bar.
Well, we got off camera and I started like doing all my prep. Jess is looking at me going, "Really?" So we got complex this week. He told me he got inspired, but I started thinking about it, making big cubes.
You're funny, guys.
The cilantro. Whoever thought to put cilantro in a drink, but you know, the Goza is what it is. Goza is cilantro. So I figured it'll all like come together, and it did. It tastes really fresh.
So what I'm doing is I've got Cocktail and Sons Oleo Saccharum. It's enriched citrus syrup with lemongrass and ginger.
Okay.
With a little lime juice, little vodka, and then I'm going to do the watermelon gosa. Like a combo of both your drinks.
I hadn't really thought I wanted to call mine still. Russian Summer.
Hey,
Watermelon.
What's in your cocktail?
Vodka, genepi, lemon juice, watermelon beer.
Ukrainian picnic.
You know what? Look at this.
I like that.
I have Ukrainian vodka to put in it.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Mine's pretty good, actually.
I have Georgia vodka to put in it.
What did you call it? Ukrainian picnic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. How's that sound?
Yeah. Ukrainian picnic.
Hey, Sean, can you rename the beers and put that with beer at the Beery Traveler .beer?
Yes.
And we have 5 minutes, guys.
Yeah, I was looking at the time as you asked me that. I'm like, man.
Oh shit!
Let me get my stuff ready.
Let's see what we got. Pontoon. Next time, laying in like this is really hard.
I think they're going to post it when they're ready for people to actually like go.
No, Sean, I was saying let's put beer at the Beery Traveler .beer under the beer.
Oh, God damn it. Of course, it won't let me copy that shit.
We got 3 minutes. Yeah, I'm still at 24%. I think we're good on the power. I think Captain will have enough power. I've got a horrible Scottish accent, so. All right, real quick check. Got my ice.
So before Sean brings us on, while he's in process of bringing us on, if we just kind of want to just stay quiet and get ready, and then Sean, as soon as you step away or get back or just give us a clue, point to me or whatever, because you'll transfer everything over to me, and then Ian will kick it off.
So, okay, so I'm waiting for Sean to point.
Yeah, he's going to point down to you.
Okay.
Where is he? Right across to you? Yeah.
Ian's right below me.
He's
See,
below
but-
you?
See, you're right here to me.
That's where the beers are on my screen. But
Oh yeah, it
That's
varies
what the beers are
from screen to screen.
Yeah, but Sean's the one that's going to be sending it and what it sees. So,
Well, however, yeah. So send it to me. As soon as he points somewhere on this screen, I'll know to go.
there you go.
all right, I'm going to start the process of going live.
Is there a link on the event?
So actually, if you go to the event, I'm going to go live on the event
Oh, okay, perfect.
presently. Live on Facebook. And an event. Event name. Fuck, what did I call this? What did I call the event?
It starts with live stream with Scott Gesser.
Yep.
We called Sean's drink the Ukrainian picnic.
Right.
So we're using Cortista. I guess that's how you pronounce that shit. Cortista.
Cortista. Yeah.
Cortista. Oh, and which cocktail's going first?
Oh, I don't care. Well, I'll do mine first.
You want to do yours first?
Sure.
Okay.
Should be ready to press go. So,
And then on the outro, you definitely want to make sure you guys get your plugs in. So after you play your song, Scott,
Mhm.
throw your plugs on it. Like, hey, thanks for watching. You can also catch me on all your plugs.
Fair enough.
And then Sean can jump in and then do yours as well. Right after that. Sean's not there, is he?
The top of his head is.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to like grab that little ponytail.
next week I'll have my mini Bluetooth keyboard right here, so I don't have to do all this crazy shit. All right, I'm about to hit live. 3.
Okay, did you hear what we said?
Plug your stuff after Scott.
Yes. And then throw it to me.
Throw that to you. Going.
So I'm pointed to.
It's going. Hold on.
It says live on Facebook now, yeah. All right, hey, welcome to the Beery Traveler. My name's Ian. What I do is I drive around this great country looking for good times and great beers. With me, as always, is Sean, the bartender extraordinaire. We also have Scott Gesser with us as our special guest, our musical talent this evening.
Good evening.
Tonight, we're going to talk about the different kind of sour beers. So we've got 3 different styles that we're going to talk about. And then we're going to talk really about what sour beers are, and then we're going to make a couple cocktails with one of the beers as well. But Scott comes to us. You're from Arizona, correct? Correct me if I'm
Yes,
wrong.
indeed. Originally from Jersey, but I've been in Arizona for a little over 20 years, so it's been a while.
Excellent. Well, welcome to the show. We'll kind of educate you maybe a little bit on craft beer tonight, sours in particular, and then also we've got some pretty interesting cocktails that we came up with, and then we had fun naming them just before the show started. So let's talk about sour beers, really. There is different styles of sour beers, but really what the definition of a sour beer is a beer that is intentionally made to be acidic, tart, or sour to the taste. So normal beers that you would keep out the yeast. Sour beers, you want to put that wild yeast and let it go crazy, or also known as bacteria. Lactic acid is one of those that you really want to get into your sour beers, and it gives it that souring effect to it. Lactobacillus I looked it up. I wanted to make sure I pronounced it right too. But that's the bacteria that really is the most popular one that they use with a lot of sour beers, and what know at least 2 of these have with it. So without that, let's talk about the 3 different types of sour beers we have. The first one is going to be a Berliner Weiss. What that is basically you have your Belgian style wheats. This is a Berlin style. So this one is going to be a little bit sour. It's kettle soured with that lacto. It's usually a little bit lower in APV, definitely lower than the ones we've been drinking lately, right, Sean?
Oh my God.
This one's a 5.1%. We've been drinking some big boys lately. This one, they do a secondary fermentation where they add pineapple and tart cherries to it. What a secondary fermentation is basically is more of a conditioning of the beer. So when you have a finished beer after the first fermentation, you then add what kind of enhancement you want to do, or if you want to barrel age it, usually that's a secondary fermentation and you're looking to pick up flavor, in this case, the pineapple and the tart cherry. I called up there today and I talked to a lovely young lady named Shannon. She told me that Chris Baratz is the brewmaster there. They do have a couple of other brewers as well. This one used to be from a series of beers that they had at Pontoon called Flotation Device. This was their tart cherry pineapple, and it was very popular. So then they made it into a normal strength beer that's available year round. So let's crack it open and give it a taste ourselves.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited for this one, actually.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not normally excited, but
It's got a nice design on the can. Makes you think of summertime, and definitely sours are something that you can drink out in the summer. This one's got a good golden color to it.
super golden. I mean, it might be because of the cherry. I want to imagine it's like slightly orangey, or it's got like a tiny bit of red in there.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's definitely got a.
Ooh, it smells like a slightly more tart cherry Pop Tart.
Yeah. The cherry is on there.
Wow. Pineapple really comes out. It is tart, but like very pleasantly so.
Oh yeah, but it's like, I'm not normally a pineapple person, but this is good.
No,
It's like a pineapple that's sour almost into the grapefruit.
Yeah. Like it doesn't have the sweetness of pineapple. It has the flavor of it, and it's soured. for sour.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, this is really good. I like this.
Mhm.
So while we sip on this beer, Scott, you want to tell us a little bit about how you got started doing music and what inspired you to do, this kind of music where you put the comedy on it as well?
Absolutely. I have wanted to be a comedian ever since I was little. It was, when I was 5, 6 years old and people were like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I always said, I want to be a comedian. I want to stand up in front of people and try to make them laugh. I was painfully shy, however, and the idea of getting in front of anybody and doing anything scared the daylights out of me. And so it was a little bit difficult in achieving my dream when I was directly scared of the thing that I'd have to do to achieve my dream. When I moved out to Arizona from the East Coast, I was in the middle of my junior year of high school. Like I moved halfway through the year. And for my senior year, I went to this art school, kind of a charter art school in downtown Phoenix. And my drawing teacher was also a performance art teacher, and she enrolled me in that class for my senior year against my will. I did not want to go into the class. I went and talked to her, and I was complaining to her. I was like, this is not what I signed up for. And she's like, I think you'll like it. And I was like, I think you're absolutely nuts. I do not want to do this. And of course, it ended up being my favorite class, and I kind of got used to performing in front of people. And right around the same time, I had written a song called A to Z. And it was kind of the first comedy song that I ever wrote that I really performed in front of people. At the time, all I knew how to play was the bass guitar. So it was just a guy playing a bass by himself, playing the song, which you don't get a whole lot of these days. And I just got so much positive reinforcement as a result of that song. It got to the point where it became kind of famous amongst downtown Phoenix for a little bit. And anytime anyone walked into the room and they hadn't heard the song yet, we all had to stop what we were doing and I had to play the song. And I was like, all right, not only do I actually like performing, but it's a great way to really get into that narcissism that I've been trying to lock in all these years to get people to pay attention to me. And so ever since then, I've just been trying to play, to write songs and write music and perform as much as I can. And it's an absolute blast. It really is. It's so much fun.
That's definitely cool. Yeah, that's interesting how people just decide, to do things. And you decided at a young age that you wanted to do it and make laugh, but you just kind of needed that teacher to give you a little.
I had to get pushed into. I'm still actually friends with her on Facebook, and every now and then she'll be like, hey, how's it going? And I'll say, I get to perform all the time. I've met so many people and I've gotten these amazing opportunities, and I blame you. It's really your fault that things are going well.
That is definitely excellent. Well, we're going to move on to the next beer. We're going to talk about the Orpheus. And the name of this beer is All You Get Is All You Get.
thanks, Dan.
So definitely a couple things about this. This one is called an American Wild Ale. So why they call it, it's made in the ale style. It's brewed in the U.S., but they use a different style of yeast in addition to the traditional yeast that you would use in IPAs.
Yeah, that's much paler.
Yeah. This one, they call it is a hazy sour ale.
It says like you can't see through it at all. It's
Yeah.
like a very, very light yellow color.
Yeah.
What's that? It smells like sauerkraut.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
So I saw on their website that they recommend doing this with charcuterie
I say pork.
as a starter. Yeah.
Pork and sauerkraut, man. Wow.
Yeah. Tart and fruity and a touch sweet.
Oh, sorry. Cheers.
This is good. Very, definitely the first beer. It's very refreshing, very crisp and clean.
It's much milder on the palate than I would have thought, given the nose. Like it's
Mhm.
smooth. It has all the flavors that I can smell, but they're not.
Hmm.
They're not punching you.
It's citrusy sour. It's that lemon. It's lime, lemon lime, grapefruit.
Yeah, I think I'm still stuck on sauerkraut. Like lemon, yeah, but like that kind of vinegar tart. That what is it? It's like cardamom
Yeah,
and
yes, you get a
phthalates
little
and
bit.
sauerkraut. I mean, I like it.
So they had a cool quote on their website that I was trying to grab one quote every week. This one says, "We can be swayed by the illusion that some things are just out of our grasp, but sometimes all you get is all you get."
Is that from
So
a movie though? I feel like that's a
yeah,
movie.
Orpheus, they're down by Piedmont Park.
Yeah, it's actually on the can too.
Yeah.
All right, that's
Oh
good.
yeah, didn't even read that on the can. I went to the website. Anyway, Scott, tell us a little bit more about how from the young age and what has brought you up to where you are now. Like, what kind of experiences have you had performing and touring?
A lot of it has just been it's been a mixture of trying to kind of fit in with everyone around me and also trying to outdo myself. I say fit in with everyone around me because Phoenix actually has a pretty solid comedy scene that I've kind of found my way into over the years. But there's really not a whole lot in terms of musical comedians. There are definitely some folks over the years who have inspired me. When I was little, Weird Al was, of course, huge, um, and I mean still is. But Stephen Lynch is incredible. Bo Burnham, of course, is fantastic. But there's not a whole lot of musical comics that are represented. And as I've worked my way into the comedy scene, I think I've kind of figured out why, and that's that. Other comedians really do not like musical comedians. I mean, and of course, some of them certainly do. And I've made a lot of friends in the comedy community, but it definitely can be a little challenging to get a leg up sometimes when you're not a traditional stand-up comedian. And it's interesting.
A little bit, huh?
It's definitely I think it's almost the same thing for anybody that's not that's not completely typical. If you've got a certain angle that you come at, if you perform in character, or if you perform prop comedy or anything like that, you're kind of, I think, looked down upon within the comedy community. And the irony of that is, I find that audiences are really, really appreciative of comedians that are atypical.
Yeah.
I've been very lucky. A lot of the crowds that I've played for have been just tremendous. And over the last few years, what I've really also gotten into, just as far as trying to top myself, is I've recorded 4 comedy albums in the last decade. Actually, our bartender's brother has been on 3 of them. But yeah, it's been so much fun just trying to write songs that are not necessarily just funny, but also really good songs that happen to be funny. Like, my goal is to seek out earworms and then try to make them funny also. And so that's been part of the challenge over the years as well.
I was kind of curious, like, just going backwards a little bit. Was there like a first comedian that stands out for you? Like you said, you always wanted to be a comedian. Was there one that you remember hearing like first or early on?
My parents always had Comedy Central, and there was a channel, and I don't know if this was Comedy Central or if it was just a late night thing, but there was something called Stand Up when I was really little. And I remember that being on like all the time. I don't know what if it was a network or what, but it was just clips of different stand-up comedians doing a bit, and then it would just, move on to a different comedian. And so that was on all the time. I didn't understand like any of the material that anyone said because, I was little, but I was just watching these people go up and talk into a microphone, and people listened to them and people laughed at them. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to have the kind of ego that you need to get in front of a bunch of people and they have to listen to you just because you happen to be talking to them. I think you have to be a little bit insane to do it, but it's so much fun.
Nice.
Excellent. Excellent. So, it's, a lot of those experiences on the road kind of, crafted you into some of the songs. Do you write a lot of the songs about those kind of experiences?
I would say I write maybe I'm hyperbolic a lot. I definitely I used to have a joke that I'm hyperbolic 155% of the time, but I think more recently I've written about more general things that I've noticed, kind of like folly of man types of things. Just because I think it's important, as much fun as it is to write about my personal experiences, I want to write things that are general enough that an audience can relate to them. So a lot of the things that I write about are kind of things that anybody could theoretically understand, even if they haven't necessarily experienced them. The album that I released last year had a track on it called Customer Service. And it's one of those things where it's just kind of a barrage of words from the perspective of someone in customer service who's dealing with different types of customers. And it's one of those things where you don't have to have worked in customer service to understand the tone and to understand the humor that's underlying throughout the song.
There's so many jokes, like Sean and I.
Yeah,
it's
we're attending all the customer service.
All you have to see is the title customer service, and then all of a sudden okay, this is going to be about everything that I've
got
thought.
Something to say to this guy.
Right, exactly. It's very much like that sort of thing. I wrote a song called Save the World that's about, people on the internet who offer their thoughts and prayers and think that that's going to take care of things, and kind of just stuff in that vein. And part of the fun challenge of doing that is, not just writing the songs and not even just making them catchy enough that you'd want to hear them after you've established, okay, this is the joke. Now I can go back and listen to the song and appreciate it as a piece of music. But I also really enjoy challenging myself to rip off other bands that I like, or just artists that I think are interesting. Like I definitely took a page out of Weird Al's handbook a little bit, because obviously he does the parodies and everything, but he also has all these original songs where he's written the lyrics and he's written the music, but he's kind of written it to sound like the general style of a certain band or artist.
Yeah.
And I really love doing that, like trying to say, all right, can I dress up sonically as Terrence Trent D'Arby or Tom Petty or Bone Thugs and Harmony, or which are all bands that I actually referenced. I wrote a Bone Thugs and Harmony song about accounting for the last album, and that's part of the fun of it for me, is like, all right, let's see if I can even do this, and then also, can I make it funny, and then also, can I make it a good song? So it's become more about challenging myself and pushing myself to do better each time.
That's cool.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a blast. It's so much fun. It's so stupid, but I have so much fun doing it.
We have one more beer to go tonight. This one is from a little bit of a bigger beer maker, Terrapin. Those guys have been around for a little while here in Atlanta. They've got a watermelon goza. So this is their first goza that they made. Gozas, what really makes a goza is being brewed with coriander and salt. So they originated in Goslar, Germany, which, if you look at a map of Germany, it's basically right smack dab in the middle. It's if you know anything, coriander is basically cilantro. Cilantro is called what it's called in the United States. Basically, everywhere else in the world, they call it coriander. Terrapin adds a little bit of watermelon to theirs. We're going to give it a little try. And then we've also made a couple of cocktails to go with this one as well.
Yes.
We each decided to take a sour beer cocktail challenge this week. So on that nose, you get that.
You get watermelon in the nose. It's a little metallic, I think. Although I'm not sure if maybe it's, I don't know.
I get like that watermelon like patch, like watermelon vine on it, you know, like you're.
Yeah, I was gonna say watermelon rind. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. It does. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
It's
like
more
a,
like,
it's like a tart
like-
watermelon Jolly Rancher.
you know what this would go really well with?
A cocktail.
Kumamoto or some kind of West Coast oysters. Like West Coast though, with that nice
Ready?
cucumber
Oh yeah, cucumber.
watermelon rind.
Yeah, but nice. So this one's actually like nice and clear, see through, still faint yellow. Not as heady, like a little less effervescent.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and definitely it's got like the vegetal fruit taste of watermelon, but almost no sweetness. I just
Yeah.
it's light sour.
The sweetness is kind of hidden. It's not sweet, but it's got like that freshness almost to it. Like,
Let's say
like it tastes like a watermelon, like you would after picking a watermelon, that smell that comes off the vine.
Yeah. That's just, so my initial thought was like it's like a watermelon Jolly Rancher without the sweetness, but it's
Yeah,
because that's super corn.
but it's
syrup.
not sweet. It's fresh. It's not.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just more of the if you took all that sugar away and like left the flavoring.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
All right. Well, Scott, you're going to tell us about what you're doing right now, and you're going to play a song for us as well, correct?
Yes, sir. Let me grab Ringo. This is Ringo. This is actually my fiance's guitar. She named it Ringo because it's wildly inappropriate for the name of a guitar. But I mentioned a little earlier that one of the artists that I ripped off on my my last album was Tom Petty. And I don't know if these things necessarily come across when I play the songs live. But I will say on the albums themselves, everything has full instrumentation. A couple songs have actually had orchestral arrangements and things like that. It's very highbrow stupidity. But this is a song that I really enjoy doing live, and so I thought I'd throw it out there tonight. So here we go. I was wandering aimlessly around Comic-Con the first time I saw you there in your cosplay. You were basically naked except for your bubblegum hair. I assumed you were from some kind of anime. But since we've gotten together, I can't help but notice you're a bit on the nerdy side. And the more I'm around you, the sadder it gets. And I'm starting to wish I had 12-sided died. And I'm tired of keep track of all your stupid goddamn fandoms. And I'm tired of hearing all about how Thor is fucking handsome. Even the inventor of Magic the Gathering would agree that you're way too nerdy for me. You won't shut up about which doctor's the best or which Harry Potter house you get sorted into. And when you're on hour 6 of telling me why the Blob would defeat Juggernaut, I just want to choke you. Every time you call me the Mulder to your Scully, I can't help but think that you're the worst. And there's no amount of persuasion on your part that will make me care whether Han shot first. And I'm tired of trying to understand your D&D campaigning. And I'm tired of your Bazinga shirts and live-action role-playing. Even the asshole who rebooted Fantastic Four would agree that you're way too nerdy for me. When I asked you what you wanted us to be, you said PC Master Race. When I told you that I belong to you, you responded all your base. When I wanted to be your hero, you made me dress up like Spider-Man. When I wanted to go to a party with you, I didn't mean fucking land. I won't argue with you about whether Adam West was a better Batman than Michael Keaton. And no matter how many times you bring up his name, I still don't know a damn thing about Will Wheaton. And you can't afford to go out because you're constantly buying Star Trek figures until you overdraft. So we're always forced to stay in, and now every night I'm stuck there watching you play World of Warcraft or Minecraft or reading about H.P. Lovecraft. You write more fan letters to George R.R. Martin than any sane person would allow, and I'm pretty sure Benedict Cumberbatch has a restraining order against you by now. And I'm tired of Aragorn the Brave and Legolas the Archer. And I'm tired of dressing up in drag and watching Rocky Horror. And I'm tired of you explaining why Serenity was artful. And I'm tired of ninjas versus pirates and DC versus Marvel. Even Felicia Day and Angie Knight would agree. And maybe one day you'll take off your Oculus Rift and see that you're way too nerdy for me. You're way too nerdy for me.
I think I got almost all those references.
That
I'm
actually
unmuted
it
now.
started because I was watching Robot Chicken, and there were a lot of Will Wheaton references on that show, and it occurred to me, I was like, I don't think I know exactly who Will Wheaton is. And once I started researching that, I was like, all right, let's see what we can build into with this.
Yes.
Hey, the best Will Wheaton line ever is, "Suck my fat one, you cheap dime store hood."
He said that to Betty White, right?
No, he said it to Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh, okay. That's almost the same person.
Well, now, yeah. Oh, man. Pop my back after that one. I believe it's cocktail time.
Yes, it is. All right, Sean, what you got for us?
So I'm switching cameras momentarily. Oh, there it goes.
Oh,
Excellent.
cocktail cam. Cocktail
Woo.
cam.
Cocktail cam. Whoa!
spilled the beans on your little trick earlier with that.
What trick? What?
Your little, I'm locked up.
No tricks.
I'm
No
afraid
tricks.
for my life.
All right. So my cocktail this week, and Scott actually named it right before we started the show. And I think I wrote it down and I can't read it.
The Ukrainian picnic.
Ukrainian picnic. That's what that says. That's just scribble on there. I can't even read that at all.
And it was so ironic because you didn't even know that I had Ukrainian vodka in my fridge.
No, it's fantastic. I wholly endorse it. I think it's great. So let's see. There's my cocktail glass. And we're going to take a little bit of ice, put it in our tin. Whoop. Don't mind that piece of ice I just dropped. So we're going to do 1 ounce of vodka. Dee-dee. And we're going to use actually some Genepi this week that my co-host from my other show left at my house, and I've been slowly drinking, but also really enjoyed. It's like a sweeter, slightly less herbal version of chartreuse. In case you're wondering. Great for sipping.
Man.
Cocktails. I'm going to add a little bit more to mine because I like it. There we go. And then 1/4 ounce of lemon juice. Freshly squeezed about an hour before the show. Give that a little stir. There we go. Get the camera angle right. I also made big cubes of frozen strained watermelon juice. Damn.
Sean went all fancy with me on the big cube.
Well, Ian made a cocktail this week too, and I don't want to be outdone. So I was scared and nervous a little bit, okay? All right.
Nervous.
Well, again, don't want to be undone. So we're going to take our Genepi, lemon juice, and vodka, pour that over the big cube here. That goes about halfway up the glass. And top with the watermelon goza.
And go all the way with the goza?
Goza all the way. Boom. And we got a little bit of watermelon skin as a nice colorful garnish. And Milan. Cheers, everyone.
Where's my watermelon skin at? There it is.
Oh my gosh, that's freaking delicious. I'll go back to regular camera now. Look at that. That's pretty. That's a pretty cocktail.
That was very good. I might have to use the prop. I might have to use the prop goza.
The prop goza?
I don't know. I've got a little bit left in this can.
Oh yeah, no, I made sure to save extra because I knew we were making cocktails and I didn't want to.
All right. I have to sneak off camera because I forgot to bring a dump. But my garbage can is right over here. So Scott, tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now.
Same as everybody else, just trying to stay safe and balance that with staying relevant. I actually, a little bit after all of this started, I wrote and released a song called the Coronavirus Love Song, and ended up putting out a GoFundMe for that song, where I donated all of the proceeds to a charity that feeds basically people who need food. It's called Feeding America. It's a fantastic charity, and ended up selling copies of that song for donations. So that was kind of my big comedy project. But aside from that, I'm kind of taking a little bit of a breather. I figure we've all kind of had to. And a lot of the recording that I've been doing lately has been not comedic. In addition to having a a comedy website where I sell my comedy music. I also have just a Bandcamp where I post songs that are not funny. And the most recent thing that I worked on earlier this week, I posted a cover album called "I Still Own an iTouch," because I do, and I'm very proud of that. Apparently, proud enough to put it on the cover of an album. And just did a bunch of cover songs of various things that I really like, and I wanted to try my hand at covering. But I've got about I think 27 albums on that Bandcamp, which is really just a reflection of how much free time I have, which is entirely too much. And I think four of those albums have been recorded in the last 2 months, so it's really been my method of staying sane through everything. You know what I mean?
Talk about having too much free time. Look at you. Look, you're stuck with us now doing this kind of thing. This is what too much free time will get you.
This has been a very high. I haven't performed in about 5 months or so. So it's nice to get to play some songs for some people and not just yell them into a computer and then post them online.
Well, hopefully the 5 people that are watching right now, including my wife, I make her watch. So that
His fiance's watching too.
My fiance is
you're
watching
tonight.
Hey. Hey, sometimes it's the post-live views that also counts.
Yeah.
We love all of you.
Right. No matter when.
I love one of you in particular, like, a lot.
Yes.
And then the rest of you are great, I'm sure, probably.
Yeah. All right, we have one more cocktail tonight as well. So
I'm going to
this
switch
one
my
is
camera
called
to follow along.
Sandio El Loco. So this one is made with tequila, so we had to give it a nice Spanish name. So Sandio El Loco translated is the crazy watermelon. So we are going to use some fresh watermelon. So I've pre-cubed some watermelon. And just grab 2 or 3, depending on the size, and throw them into there with a little bit of cilantro. And yes, cilantro. We're going to make this a little bit. And when I say a little bit, don't go too crazy, because a little cilantro goes a long way. And what we're going to do is we're going to muddle that down.
I really like how it sounds.
So, and you stick your nose in there, you smell that cilantro. It's going.
There we go.
Then we'll cover that with some ice. Good bit. It's as little of the cubes as you can get them. The watermelon does have a little bit of pulp to it, so it will be in the drink almost like the style that a mojito or a Moscow Mule would. Well, maybe not a Moscow Mule, but mojito will have it. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to do a 1.5 ounces of white tequila. I like my cheap tequila. Not cheap tequila. Not expensive tequila. I like the bite that tequila gives you. Now, with silver tequila, you're not going to get too much, but we're going to do about 1.5 ounces of that. And then we're going to use some kind of watermelon liqueur. I'm using the Mr. Stack's sour watermelon schnapps. Schnapps from Minnesota, so we can say schnapps.
Schnapps. Come on, Ian, give me some schnapps.
Schnapps. A little bit of lime juice to go with that. So we're going to do 3/4 ounce of lime juice. And then about a 1/4 ounce of simple syrup. We're gonna give that a good shake.
All right.
Now, take a glass and we're gonna put a salted rim on this. Throw that in there. Maybe just a little bit more ice on top of it. And then top it off with the Goza. You don't need too much, just the leftover amount that you didn't drink, really. When you taste it, it's not sweet, but it's very fresh and refreshing. Sean's remembering the garnish that I forgot. So,
You're welcome.
yeah. Cube of watermelon. And a sprig of cilantro.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Mm. There was a watermelon Sour Patch Kid.
Yeah.
That's it. So I what kind of salt did you use?
I used
Right,
Morton.
Morton's! Yes. So you told me like, I don't know, an hour before the cast that you need a salt rim. You might have told me before. I did not remember until now for sure.
Yeah, I wanted to get some nice big like sea salt, but I flaked out.
So I went upstairs and I had like big chunk Himalayan pink sea salt, and I was with the mortar and pestle just tastes really good on this. Plus the pink sea salt and like the pink kind of colored drink. If I hadn't intended, I think I would have. If I hadn't intended, this is what I would have done. It's nice.
Yeah.
Mm.
Thank you.
And the cilantro, like as a garnish, like I can smell it as I'm going to take a sip. But yeah. And definitely sea salt with a slightly milder salinity than Morton's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, whatever.
We're at home. We're under quarantine.
Quarantine times.
We gotta use what we got.
Locked in the basement. I got a tie and no collar.
I'm in the cellar myself here.
Just so you know, I do have different signs and different ties.
I'm literally halfway in the closet.
Aw, it's okay, buddy.
The closet pretty though.
Now the closet too.
I'm coming out.
Tom Cruise, we know you're in the closet.
My wife's up there. What?
I'm coming out. This is when it all went to hell.
All right. So Scott, let's hear that extra song you got.
All righty. So this one's got a little bit more of a story behind it, and I'll kind of paraphrase how I talk about it on stage. I turned 36 last year, which actually I turned 35 the day that I wrote this song. I turned 35, and it put things into perspective for me because while I was doing this, I thought a lot about my mom. My mom was she had me a little bit late, and she was pregnant with me while she was 35. Like the day she turned 35, she was getting ready to have a kid. She had already gotten married. She was living in this big house. She was working. She had the, you know, kind of living the American dream. And then, you know, my 35th birthday was spent writing this song. So here we go. There's nothing better than waking up to the one you love. There's nothing better than seeing them smiling back at you. Nothing comes close to the feeling you get when you're with the greatest person that you've ever met. Yeah, and for most of my life I thought that that was true. But then I had a Doritos Locos taco from Taco Bell. It's like a regular taco, but with a Dorito shell. And from the moment I ate it, I was converted for life. And now I wanna make Doritos Locos Tacos my wife. Yeah, I wanna make Doritos Locos Tacos my wife. I got a job with a PR firm up in NYC. Got my own corner office and a 6-figure salary. The work was super easy and the hours were great. I'd always go home early after coming in late. And I figured that would be the best thing that ever happened to me. But then I tried that Doritos Locos taco from Taco Bell, and I stopped going to work so I could eat for a spell. And sure, I may have gotten fired, but I don't really care, cause they're $1.49 and I've got money to spare. Yeah, at that rate, we'll see how many I can cram down in there. How can one simple fast food item make me feel so complete? Scientists combine the perfect chip that almost has to have to pass for taco meat. And every time I swallow one down, you know I feel so alive. Who cares that I've had 18 heart attacks at 35, now 36. I've seen the Great Wall of China and the Eiffel Tower. I've walked the pyramids and Stonehenge and I toured Babylon. And don't get me wrong, all that stuff was okay. But looking back on it, they mostly got in the way of all the times I could have run for the border and placed a whole nother order. Woke up in a pile of wrappers on my lawn. I love Doritos, Locos, tacos from Taco Bell. They raised my serotonin level and helped my sense of smell. Though I'm completely stained orange now, I can never go back. I'd literally go down on anyone for just one more snack. Have you had the Doritos, Locos, tacos from Taco Bell? My entire life up until I had one was basically hell. And as far as I'm concerned, they're the most perfect thing, except for maybe those chicken fries from Burger King. Or this one other place I went to with these buffalo wings. Hey, could somebody call an ambulance? My arm kind of stings.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen watching, thank you very much. I have been Scott Gesser. You have been fantastic. If you are interested at all, you can find my my comedy stuff at scottgesser.com. You can find my not comedy stuff at scottgesser.bandcamp.com. And you're also welcome to follow me on Instagram at Scott_Gesser.
And Sean,
I was just thank you, man, for coming on. That was a lot of fun.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
that
Thank
was
you for having
awesome.
me.
Thank you so much. That was funny.
That was good. I'm Sean Wyland, and you can find me online at MaleNPC on all the social medias, male_NPC. Season 2 of my podcast, Wasted Knowledge, is coming out now, except for tonight because I'm on this. The last couple episodes are coming out in the next few days. So you can go listen to interviews with astronauts and game designers, narrative designers, and rock bands, and all sorts of things, because I'll talk to anyone who'll have a drink with me, pretty much. Just like this show.
You want to come on and have a drink with us? Come on
Yes.
and have a drink with us.
Please do. So I think that's what I've got going on. Herr Ian?
Yes. So, and thank you to everybody. Thank you to Pontoon Brewing. Thank you to Orpheus Brewing. And thank you to Terrapin. We've got the next week, we've got Marshall Cease Jr. coming on. I want to do one more plug. Since we did the watermelon goza this week, and if we can shoot the hooch, you will see me on the river this fall, the Chattahoochee River. Get way down yonder on the Chattahoochee. So if you see me on this inner tube, Terrapin, Watermelon Goza, and you come up and you mention this show to me, I will give you a Watermelon Goza right there on the river. So come on and flow with us this summer. Hopefully that will happen, because that's one of the funnest times we have here in Atlanta is just getting out and floating down on Chattahoochee River. Also, what we have is we like to have a good time on this show. We also like to promote people with good causes. So that includes brewers, musicians, restaurant owners, distillers, wineries, etc. Just bring it on. We want to talk about your cause. We want to promote you. You know, we want to help you out. Get your name out there. If you want to come have a drink with us, and talk about your cause, you can reach us at beer@thebeerytraveler.beer. Yes, once again, that is beer@thebeerytraveler.beer. Come on, have a drink with us. Once again, my name is Ian. I'm the Beery Traveler. Sean, with me as always, will be with us next week. Marshall Cease Jr. Thanks again, everybody. Cheers. Have a good night.
Bye. I will no longer live on Facebook, all right? I will take your clothes
I
off.
like a ramble on the ending on that.
Sorry.
So I will have to say, I tried everything I could think of. It is so not intuitive to find the video on Facebook. I couldn't find
You
it.
can't find it?
Nope. I went to my wife's computer and was typing it in, Beery Traveler, and was like trying to find it and couldn't find it.
So I posted it to the event this time, because last time you were like at the event and couldn't find it.
Yep, I couldn't find it anywhere.
God damn it.
I know. I mean, I'm sure it's out there because it said it was.
Yeah,
Must
we
be.
said we were live.
Let's see. There's a post from my brother. That's good. The Beery Traveler has 13 near views. That's gotta be something.
I saw that. Yeah. Oh my God, that would be fucking horrible if we didn't get that. No, we were live. We were live somewhere. We can repost it.
Yeah, if we have to, we can repost it. We've got the full video. We can edit it down to the hour. But yeah, I just was like, I was on my wife's computer looking, and it's just not intuitive. I just don't know how to find the video. I could find it before.
Yeah, I don't see it at all. It doesn't say going live or anything like that.
Let's see. Let's see. So, I mean, should we just post to the page next time?
I think you should just post to the page. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it shows up in the videos section as happening live, and you can watch it there.
God damn it. All right. I'll I mean, so like this is recording straight to my laptop right now still. So I can post this.
Yep.
Again.
We'll do it later, yeah.
Yeah, let's just do the whole
I mean-
thing again.
right?
Start over.
Scott, can you just play the last album you made? Just play the whole thing.
Just not even play it live. I'll just put it on,
Yes.
and then I'll hold up a boombox.
But a tiny one, like a tiny USB.
Yeah, just a little. And all of the songs come out in chipmunk form.
Yeah.
You know, I heard Chip, and I tuned out like how Hobby says Chip tunes.
Yeah, but we went.
Oh God, that reminded me. Sean, you used to do an impression of Shaggy, like the reggae singer.
Yeah.
Oh God, yes.
Let me find out. You know what? My wife would know if we went live or not. So let me go ask
Mr.
her.
Loba.
Mr. Loba.
That's it. That's the one.
That impression is that old. That's sad.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's perfect.
Honestly, though, I love like going to a different city, going to a dive bar that has karaoke,
And just doing it.
busting out a Shaggy song. I'll do
Why
that
not?
or a Tenacious D song any night.
I love Tenacious D. They're awesome.
There's a karaoke bar that we go up to in Central Phoenix sometimes, and not a lot of karaoke bars have it, but when I find one that does, I can't let go. They have "King Without a Crown" by Modest Yahoo, and that's become my go-to karaoke song. And there was this one time a couple of years ago that I did it there, and there was a drunk guy, and he was absolutely convinced that I was Modest Yahoo. No, it's like, because I guess he didn't know what Modest Yahoo looks like, but in case you don't, not fucking me. And he came up to me like 5 times over the course of the night. He's like, "You're Modest Yahoo, right?" And I was like, "I am really not. I am not wealthy enough to be Modest Yahoo." And he was like, "You're Modest Yahoo." Like, I was not convincing him at all. And then finally he went up and sang a song, and he was drunk. He was slurring his way through it. And at one point during a break, he just looked at me and kind of stared, and just in this like condescending, "I caught you with your hand in the cookie jar" voice, he just went, "Modest Yahoo." Great. So now every time we all meet up for karaoke, somebody will inevitably post in the the Facebook event, "Hey, I hear Modest Yahoo's going to be there tonight."
Nice. Yeah, so I think since last time, I've probably added like 3 new impressions.
3. Ooh. Wait. What are the new impressions, or the relatively new impressions?
Relatively, yeah, because it's aged for anyone that does impressions. Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
"Oh, get down! You have to get to the chopper." Honestly, I do it when I tell people about appetizers at our restaurant. "Are you love to smoke salmon? Smoke salmon, it goes down nice and easy. It goes in your tummy. You go, nom, 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 nom."
So I don't think we went live at least on Beery Traveler, from what Alicia says. Now you recorded it, right? So we're recording it now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I recorded it too.
So we should be all right with that. So what'd you think about the drink now that we're off camera, Sean? Do you think I did all right with this?
Yeah, man. I like it.
Yeah.
They both looked really good from here. They looked fantastic.
Right? I mean,
See, if Sean
Like, I'm
would've
not a
let me know
beer guy, but I was
before
like, you know what? If
Tuesday-
someone put either of those in front of me, I'd have them.
Sean would have let me know before Tuesday, I would have sent you all this stuff, and you could have tried all the beers and stuff. And
It's all good. I got whatever this is.
yeah, no foam in the cup. Let's get fucked up.
this is
You
straight
like
up
to get
gasoline.
Like a good rap duo. The Palmer Squares are good.
They're all right.
They're all right.
They're all right. That's my positive wife.
They're way better live than they are recorded.
I was briefly in a rap duo called the Professor Brothers.
Professor Brothers.
I convinced some company once that was on their Christmas party, I think, that I was the next gangster rapper coming out called Lil Ian.
when
They
when
fucking
I
went for it too.
when I was in high school, two of my
What?
friends and we formed
This is my
a
wedding
fake
cup.
rap trio that was supposed to be a direct rip-off of the Beastie Boys.
Excellent.
We were called SDI. It didn't stand for anything. We would change what it stood for every time. And we never had any actual songs. Like, we never performed. We wrote a couple of songs, but we never like rehearsed them or even did anything to perpetuate that we were a musical group. Other than we came up with names. So we had Mavrock, which was like Maverick, but with a rock instead of a Rick. We had J to the MC. And then I was very happy with my name. I was like the MCA of the group because I had a lower voice and played bass. But I was Gesher Clay. And I was, you know what? If I was a rapper, Gesher Clay would be a pretty solid name.
Trying to get in. You know, you can sit next to me like you like me.
Well, all your shit's in my way.
Oh, now you're being recorded. She did not
Hello.
see these. Hey.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Oh.
Scott, this is Alicia.
Hi, it's nice to meet you.
She's one of the 5 people watching us.
She keeps me in line.
Yeah.
It's
Got as well as
like
anybody can.
I make attempts to keep him in line.
Yeah.
Here do I want to drink?
Oh
No.
gosh.
Oh,
I
man.
don't do a whole lot of impressions these days, Sean, but
Beers out here. These
my
beers are poured out.
my go-to impression, mostly when I'm with my fiance, is I like to do Kermit the Frog singing "Bodies" by Drowning Pool. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
That's fine. Have you heard
John's.
Jesus Christ Superstar done by the Muppets?
No,
I have the whole album.
that
It's
sounds
one
that sounds
guy who
amazing.
does all the voices. It's not a Jim Henson approved thing. It's
It's just
absolutely
somebody.
freaking hysterical.
Oh my god.
Now, is it
Um,
Muppets Band or just various Muppets?
No, it's all the music from Jesus Christ Superstar sung by the Muppets and transformed because, you know, like Miss Piggy sings "I Don't Know How to Love Him" and talking about Kermit, and Kermit's the Christ, and it's super 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 funny. I'll send you copies of it. It's absolutely
That sounds
hysterical.
amazing.
Any
favorite-
Muppets spoof is hilarious.
One of my favorite covers of all time. I think it was on the soundtrack for that Muppets movie that Jason Segel did back in like 2010. They did a cover of "Fuck You" by CeeLo, but all of the vocals and background vocals were done by the Chickens. The chicken. Yeah.
It's all right.
And then,
So-
background chickens.
All right.
So,
have you ever,
you know-
first mentioning CeeLo, have you ever heard of any of his Goody Mob stuff where he kind of came up?
I'm familiar with Goody Mob in the sense that I remember they exist, but I don't
Yeah.
remember any specific songs of theirs.
Like the greatest Muppet song I think would be to do like the "Who's that peeking in my window?"
Oh,
Pow.
I do remember that song.
Nobody now.
In Los Angeles, because the Henson Studios are there, there's a counterculture, I suppose, called Puppet Up, and they do a show on a stage with a screen, and so you see the guys doing the puppets, but then you have the screen to see what it actually is what they're doing. So they're looking at a screen and they're doing their puppets and all that stuff. And it's called Puppet Up. And think Avenue Q, but, So it's they curse and they do all these things and these songs and it's really, really funny.
Do you remember Crank Yankers?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was what, Jimmy Kimmel and the guy from Loveline. They had the man show.
Adam Carolla.
Yes, Adam Carolla.
Hold on.
They had like the puppets doing like weird things, like they were on the phone, like phone sex and like masturbating and shit like that. I don't know if there was that far, but
You got Sarah Silverman, Tracy Morgan,
yeah.
Kevin Nealon, Dave
There were-
Chappelle, Dennis
a lot of
Leary.
people.
Well, that's when Sarah Silverman and Jimmy Kimmel were still together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
then
gosh.
damn Matt Damon. That was one of the greatest songs and then rebuttal songs ever. Comedy songs right there for you. Have you ever seen that? I'm fucking Matt Damon
Of course.
Oh yeah.
and the fucking Ben Affleck.
Yep. The retaliation video.
That was fucking hilarious. Ben Affleck in the ascot.
I love that started like just an ongoing rivalry with Matt Damon and Jimmy Kimmel too, where it was just like they brought it up like over and over the course of the years after that. Like they had a whole, I don't know if it was a week-long thing or if it was just one episode, but they had an episode of Jimmy Kimmel's his talk show where Matt Damon was hosting it and Jimmy Kimmel was tied up and duct taped to a chair behind him. It's like that's committing to the bit because it was like a 5 or 6 year thing.
Like, I guess it was when Matt Damon was still coming up. He was like the last guest on the show, and they bumped him, and it kept doing it. It was like the kind of turned into a joke where he'd bump him off the show.
Man, so that was an even longer thing than I knew.
Yeah, and that's when brought it up. Like he bumped him up. Like he finishes every show. Sorry, we don't have time for Matt Damon. And he's been finishing the show with that for years.
Oh my gosh.
So, because when he was first up, like when he was brand new, Matt Damon was still brand new, and they ran out of time, and they had to bump Matt Damon, and so it was before it was a big deal, and so he started just kind of doing that.
Yeah.
And Matt Damon, I don't know if he sold it or if he was really pissed off or not, but there was a couple times he was like, "What the fuck," like.
It's such a good, like I don't know if there's any truth to the animosity or anything. I can't imagine there's.
I'm sure they're friends now. Yeah, doing stuff like that.
That's such a great commitment to the bit to keep it going for that long. That's amazing.
All right, I have to get my pipe.
Your what now?
Where is it?
It's over there. Ty.
Yeah.
Have to.
Sean, I don't know if I told you that your brother is on 3 of my albums.
So I remember him doing the first one.
He was on my he was on the second one was the first one that he did because the first one had it was pretty sparse. There wasn't a whole lot to it. And
because you guys were both talking about it. I was like, oh shit, you know each other. Cool.
Yeah, we actually met at Comic-Con that one time where you were in town, and I didn't have anything to do until my show, so I was just hanging around your booth like the whole day. And Aaron didn't have anything to do either, so he was hanging around your booth the whole day. So we just started talking, and he mentioned that he played saxophone, and I kept thinking, it would be great to have like a legit saxophone player on a song at some point. Mm-hmm. And I ended up writing this song for my second album that was essentially the gist of it was if a Kenny G song had words, and he did like the smooth jazz sax stuff, and I love that song so much. It is the only song in my comedy like oeuvre that my fiance will not listen to. Like she hates it. And I understand why. It's a disgusting song, but but yeah, he played the saxophone on that. 2 years later, he came into the studio again, and I had a Dave Matthews Band ripoff song, so he played the sax on that, and a James Brown ripoff. So he did. I think he played like 3 different saxes and a trumpet on that.
The dude's literally a master. Like
he's an incredibly good musician. And then the last album, I did a Michael Bublé type of thing. So
Yes.
I had him come in for the chorus of that. Or no, he was living up in, I think, Flagstaff at the time.
Yep.
So he sent all of his tracks to me remotely, and we were able to get him on the album that way.
Yeah, he just worked with another friend of mine who works in video game composition, and like that guy sent me a message like, "Dude, I worked with Aaron Weiland. That's your brother, right?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah."
Yeah, he's super
Fucking
good.
things. No, he's really really good. It hurts me a little bit.
Yeah.
The best I've got is it's Lord Moonrazer. Yeah,
But
that's my saxophone.
you're building instruments though, so that's
That's fun, and I say that like
I mean, that's a whole other thing.
it's a whole other thing. I mean, like I feel like I'm at least part of the process.
Right.
I was on the country demo like 2 years ago,
Oh yeah?
so I needed to sing up backup vocals for someone. So I was like, "Oh yeah, cool, I can do that."
That's awesome.
And it looks like, oh wait, we're being recorded still. I'll tell you once we stop recording. When should we stop, Ty?
Whatever you want.
Whenever I want.
That was good.
Thank you for watching the extra part. Now we're stopping recording.
Extras are over.
Extra, extra.